of these teams gunning for that last spot at the Atlanta Major for the Japanese region. Crest, the heavy favorites as we get into Nighthaven Labs.
Exciting one, I think, to jump into labs for both these teams. It's nice to see Crest have a reattempt on it and actually play it out in a competitive setting. And I think for System, it does make me pretty surprised and excited for these guys that they're comfortable with jumping in on the new map and they've put the work into actually learning it, workshopping it. It's not something that you'd expect from a team that's not playing that frequently, especially in the tier 1 system like Japan. But I think Japan is such a well-established region. Like, you can be playing in your tier 2, your tier 3, and you can still be having a lot of fun with it. You can still be really competitive with it. So I'm really keen to see System and what they can do on this map.
100%. Now, Crest on the defensive band. They will be starting attack first. So, but Fenrir's gone. The Mirror could stay in. Oh, that was a very quick ban here from System. What will they be getting rid of? Solus. Okay. So it looks like the two more mobile and I don't know, the two more mobile of the very high power operators have been banned out. And in particular, that Solus really does enable a lot more pre-place droning, and it suppresses quite a lot of playmaking that's otherwise insanely good. Nighthaven Labs is a fantastic map for Solus as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, the Solus on board means that you can really have a read on what the attack is trying to do. Of course, a lot of the gadgets are electronic as well, and you really want to be using your Solus not just on the floor that they're attacking from, but actually using it on the vertical right to then feed that info to your teammates and see what's going on. So Solus being banned out will mean that the attack might have to jump on the defense without that being telegraphed as easily. But nevertheless, we're going to jump down to this basement bomb site. It does look like from the repicks of Crest, they do sort of know a little bit of what's going on. They've realized that they need some of that additional hard breach to put the pressure on the walls and actually put the pressure on the bomb site. Meanwhile, the rest of them are just jumping onto the right operator still with the right things, right? You need at least some of that destruction to clear any of the castle barricades going down, and you also need that IQ because, of course, with the two defender bans that have gone through, Valkyrie's been let through, Mirror's been let through, there are so many other power defenders that will be able to hold on to the bomb site.
Yeah, I think this is quite a trying moment now for Crest, or a testing moment at least, as we see how they attack on Nighthaven. I really like that Jackal pick in particular. Such a huge map. You can expedite that roam clear. It'll be in a pretty significant advantage moving into the execution phase of this round. Now, I don't know how you feel, Mandy, but this basement bomb site, like, it can be a fortress to defend, but it can also really fall apart as soon as the attackers have vertical control and some horizontal pressure. Be very challenging to pull off a good defense.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly why we can see System actually extending up all 3 floors of the map. They really don't want to give away that vertical for free, and so they want to be holding on to this for as long as they can. This is a tough spot here on the top of blue. He has been double droned out, and Jackal on the other side, that's Choppy, ready to take the gunfight.
Yanagi is really testing this position. They have overstayed his welcome. The Vector in hand. You can see Crest are not going to just throw bodies. They will continue to play. Did Lua toss out a stun? I believe we did just see one flashbang go out. Shiraneko has entered from top garage. Funnily enough, Choppy actually loses his life to Yanagi, so that confidence was not at all unfounded on the Mirror. However, elsewhere, Lua has managed to take down the castle, who was rotating back to site. Yanagi seems to be able to get back safely. Shiraneko continues this roam clear and finds a second one for Crest.
Really nice stuff here from Crest to do this hammer and anvil pushing all the defenders out of the line of sight, down the cargo stairs, and into the waiting arms of Lua. Means that they have done a successful roam clear, and now they have the vertical control in their hands. There is a set of breach charges both on the IQ and the Ash for Shiraneko and Whiskey, so they can make use of this vertical control, but what they want to be worried about is there are 3 C4s in the remaining hands of the defenders, right? They have to be super careful of those Valkyrie cameras actually enabling them to go off, and just as we speak of it, Yanagi claims one.
Yeah, you said it, and Shiraneko had already actually been damaged down to about 20 HP from the first C4 as well. Really great combination of the C4s and the info from the Valkyrie cameras, and just to double down here, Koki is able to land his against Whiskey, so this is very awkward now for Crest. They might have won the roam game, but the C4 battle backstabbed them immediately after, and now they're fighting from a 2 versus 3.
They might have translated this push a little bit too late as well. Only now are they starting to put in the pressure on the walls. They actually dedicated all 5 of them to that roam clear, but with only 30 seconds left to go, and now in the man deficit, it's going to be hard to convert this one.
I'm not optimistic as well for the players attacking the mirror windows at the last minute. Here we go. Lua moving in, having to deal with multiple angles, and is swung all up to Eclair here outside the breach, but I just don't think this is going to work. 3 players on system, and to their credit, this has been a solid round, Mandy. It's not just the roam game, but the counter vertical game with the C4s. It's been perfect, and it does net them the first round.
Yeah, really good read, actually, I think, from System through the mid-round to actually realize that they had to fall back once their numbers dwindled a little bit and actually lean into the C4 idea. They had 3 of them in their hands through that mid-round, and 2 of them connected, which is crazy value out of that, right? All enabled by that Valkyrie pick. And I think Crest just weren't quite careful enough. Even though they had the IQ on the board, you never know whether Whiskey actually had his gadget out or not and was calling that out. And he actually, I think, was one of the players that ended up dying to one of those C4s. So unfortunately for Crest, even though they had a successful early game and roam clear, they couldn't quite translate it through the mid-round.
It's funny, that IQ doesn't immediately mean that it's not a hard counter to Valkyrie. You still have to get in, ping them, and take out those Valkyrie cameras. And we actually saw, I can't remember which player it was at the end on the IQ, but actually took most of the damage from a C4 while he was trying to shoot out that Valkyrie camera. We just saw another one spotted here. And of course the floor there is wooden, it is soft and vulnerable to C4s. So it seems like System may continue this C4 vertical game.
That is the danger of Nighthaven in general, right? There is so much vertical potential on the map, not just if you're an attacker and looking at that perspective, but also if you're a defender as well, right? You can actually hold on to the floor below, make some vertical angles going up, or even just aid it with the Valkyrie cameras, and then prevent the entry to come in from the attack. Interesting pick here from Lua. He's actually chosen to go onto the Blitz, of all things, onto this top floor attack. Can only anticipate it will spearhead some kind of entry as they make their way in towards the building.
I noticed that the Blitz was teased out as well in the first round, and then not 6 picks, but re-picked during the prep phase. So, yeah, clearly Crest have some kind of specific idea with the Blitz on this top floor attack. Now, on top of that, the Solus has been banned, which means that System won't be able to see from afar that there is a Blitz. Oh, it seems like Crest is, at the moment, just doing some of the fundamentals, looking to breach some of the external walls, leaving their options open in the late round.
Right, so surely the combination of the EMPs onto the wall will mean that it cannot be tricked by the Kaid. Hockey on the other side is not looking to trick it regardless, so it doesn't really matter that much. But nevertheless, like you're saying, Crest sort of starting to do the checklist parts of this top floor bomb site. Meanwhile, on the other side, it is Duo who's got this setup of the Azami over on Rafters. The wall's actually been opened up in the top of blue. I think that's what Whiskey's been able to do on his lurk, and now he's going to start to get to work on these Kiva barricades in the Rafters position, trying to dislodge this player.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Duo actually taken down from the player, putting pressure out on him from the door.
That's really awkward there. Fortunate timing for him, but credit to Crest. They used that Rotero drone, clear out his cover, and immediately had someone ready to take him down. Now, Eclair has done some fantastic drone work. A lot of information now for Crest as Choppy starts to tease out the notion of sneaking in. Going to use an EMP to sound cover, it seems. But elsewhere, Lua has gone down now. There is still a player down, but not out on the top of Rafters. And have a look at this engagement. Yanagi is just around the corner. I believe that's Whiskey on the other side, but oh, he's going to use the sound cue. Surely Whiskey will be able to take advantage of the space here. I think Crest might have this one. Numbers advantage on their side, and they are inching closer. They've got the information. They are so close to being able to pull off an execute. As I say that, Shiraneko takes one down. Choppy is sending it straight into sight and will find Koki. All up to Yanagi now, and Whiskey does eventually, after exuding patience, move in and take down the final player.
Yeah, good work there from Crest. A slightly more measured mid-round, I think, is what they needed to close that one out. That they did win out the early game once again. They got the first 2 picks of the round, but that time they were a lot more careful and actually clearing out the interior of the map, making sure that they used all their utility to make sure that Rafters' position was clear, and then they could then translate into an execute after that and play the slow game. Like, you know, we were on board with, I think it was Whiskey or whoever the Jackal was just outside of blue. He didn't get too hasty on that push, but he just waited for the right timing to then go and get the pinch off on the players inside of the bomb site, right? So really nice one from Crest just to dial it back a little bit through that mid-round and close it out nice and easy.
Was really pretty crazy patience from that player outside the top of blue.
Yeah, it was.
Now,
very good.
Well, it seems like System is actually not even going to retry that bomb site. They're actually going to go down to storage and control. Now, this bomb site has really been quite hit and miss. We've seen some fantastic defense setups and some that really struggle.
The tough part about this bomb site, right, is that there's like the blind spot plant that you can get inside of that copy, which the observer actually pointed out for us just a little bit ago. That's where the castle barricade is currently putting a bit of resistance. So as you go for that kind of execute, the defense needs to worry about that like rush plant going down and making sure that they actually have eyes on where that's happening. And that means not only do you need to hold on to the basement, make sure that someone's up looking up through the vertical, but then you also need to hold on to the top floor as well and try and deny any control that the attackers might have through the ground floor. When you go for like a very holistic map control sort of strategy like that, when you go for something really ambitious, it can be kind of hard to keep tabs on the attackers when they try and go for a plant like that.
I haven't seen whether there's a lot of vertical lines open as well at this point in the system. I assume there is. The Crest, it seems like another very measured attack as we see pressure all over the map and the IQ already getting to work, spotting out a lot of the util that System have brought to the table here, and those Valkyrie cameras really will be top priority.
This is really strange. They're all convening over on this IT breach. I wonder what they're trying to do off the back of this. The only player that is doing otherwise is Neko, who's droning out in the bomb site. Tiopi is going to be on the bomb site window as well, going into storage, and it's going to try and cook a nade. Oh, prevent the bandit trick from going off. Koki just manages to land it, I think. Well, that vertical grenade hasn't quite seen him yet. He's actually going to take a chunk of damage for it.
Choppy is in a very precarious position. I can't believe that Koki is still keen here to push this. The second nade goes down. Goes for the repick. No more batteries in pocket. Whilst that drone takes it down, but now he does in fact have a vertical line of sight to watch that potential plant spot. Crest now must reassess. How are they going to clear this?
Now, whether they know it or not, like you said, he doesn't actually have any more bandit batteries in his hands, right? So they're actually just going to execute on straight through. It's Whiskey to go round this corner with Choppy doubling down, but I don't think they know that they could actually just open this wall for free. Okay, nevertheless, the entry works out for them. The trade to come through, though, from Duo on the Izami is going to hold strong, but not before being traded out himself by Whiskey. So now, top floor control in the hands of Crest, but with only a minute left to go, they'll need to convert it.
And what's more, Whiskey is very low, so will likely lose his next gunfight. Same can be said, though, for Jin. Nagi is way below. Looks like it may be a late round C4 denial attempt, but Chirineko is there, eagerly watching, ready to catch him off. This is now a massive challenge for Smiling Cat and Jin. 30 seconds is what they will have to burn, but Whiskey, contesting the line of sights with 1 HP, is never going to work out. Smiling Cat in a bit of a pinch at the moment, with 3 players encroaching on his position. Eclair takes him down. All up to Jin now. 20 seconds to go.
In the realm of possibility is this 1 versus 3. I don't think they know that he's got the top floor control, and if they want to get the plant down in the blind spot, they can't. And in fact, Lua, very aware of his position on the vertical, actually directly contests him and will take him down. Crest with the second one in this series so far, and starting to get the lead.
That was really nice. Crest is starting to fire up here a little bit, Mandy. First round, I was pretty worried for them. After those C4s here, they looked quite lost. But they've just won 2 offsites with server and now storage. Of course, now they will, of course, have to move downstairs. System have that assembly and tank bomb site back unlocked. And Crest, I think, will have to be extra careful about those C4s, as they lost 2 players to him last time. And have a look, again, we have 3 C4s on the board.
They're going to need to be careful through this mid-round night when they actually go for that vertical. And I think for Crest, it was just like a turn of events, right? Sometimes those things happen. C4s are not always the most reliable strat to always hold on to. Like you said, yes, there are 3 C4s on the board, so hopefully like one of them lands. But you can't rely on that every single time, especially when you're on this reattempt. And I think for Crest, they're not looking to do nearly as much vertical pressure this time around. I can only imagine they probably have breach charges on like one of their operators, and that's about it. But it's more about whether they actually have the time management down a little bit better, right? Last time when they converted down into the ground floor, or sorry, the basement, there was only like 30 seconds left to go. They were really down in the man count. So I think for these guys, I don't think I would change a lot of the plan. Maybe try and put the pressure on the bomb site a little bit earlier is what they're trying to do here with the Maverick pick and everything going like that. But I wouldn't say they did all that wrong with their roam clear.
It's a mid-round that has proven dangerous for Crest, but same can be said for both teams. Look at how many players Crest are down near the breach. Oh, we do have a Lion on board as well. He goes out, another one goes out. Tiny line of sight as well prepped. This is going to be some kind of a rush. You can feel it. In goes Whiskey. There's the Zafia. What is going on? Oh no, the Frost Mat proves dangerous for Whiskey, but that plant is still going down inside of the smoke. Choppy holding down the line. A great position. Where is System? Completely off-site. And as a result, Crest pull off a fantastic rush. Now it's all up to them to cover.
Oh, this is a cheeky line of sight from Lua as well, in through the assembly breach, trying to find any players that are retaking on through assembly, and Koki's got absolutely no idea that that tiny hole was made in the wall right behind him. He's going to go down. Really tough retake now for Systems. They try and make their way in through the basement. Yanagi can take down the player inside of the Frost Map. There is still 2 or 3 exterior to the breach. This post plant is going to be really tough.
Wow, it doesn't take much to swing this position, but hang on a second. Smiling Cat is actively watching and lands the shot necessary. What a retake from System Esports. I cannot believe they pulled that off. Crest did everything right, but in the retake, they could not cover that diffuser.
Oh, it's just the small gunfights that went the way of System there as they started to encircle in on that basement. All they needed to do was get confident in their swings out on the breach, and as the diffuser actually went down, someone stuck it. I think that was Yanagi. He was like, alright, I'm just going to do it. Everyone get confident, take fights, and it was super good there from System to actually take the fight to Crest and close it out back in even Stevens.
It's amazing. That's the kind of round that really gets you fired up, right? Like, there's no universe in which System should be losing that. You might have had one player in the Frost Mat for Crest, but like System drew first blood, and the plant was already down. All these players completely clueless off-site. Win a couple of gunfights, you win around like that. Definitely be fired up. You'd say, hey, maybe we can beat Crest. This is just a BO1. 5 more rounds.
I'm actually very impressed by System, to be honest. Like, I know it's only been 4 rounds that we've seen them, but I think they did make the right choice going to Night Heaven Labs. They clearly are pretty proficient on this map. They've got some good strats, I think, going into it, and they are playing the map pretty well. They know what they need to do, and they're playing as a team at the moment. And I think against Crest, it was certainly the right pick, and I think it's really starting to be proven to us on the defending half. Meanwhile, we are going to go back over into that top floor bomb site. Now, the last time that Crest were able to attack this, it was pretty clean from them. They did something nice and linear, opening the IT breach, get garage control, and translate it through there. Simple as you do it. So System, going to put that same lineup going once again, and are going to try and hold on to that Rafters position with the aid of his army a little better.
Ooh, Whiskey's just found a very early pick onto Duo. Very aggressive, but dangerous gamble for Duo, and Yazami player has gone down. Now that is the guy that you want. Oh, actually it was over from the garage window. I wonder if that was a pre-fire. Wonder if Duo was perhaps over-peaked position. But Andy, the Yazami is like your high priority player in this position right at Rafters. Losing him so early will be a massive detriment for System.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want those Kiva barricades to be regenerative through the rounds, so that as the push starts to come through, you can continue to build up the fortress over on Rafters. And with the army going down, it is going to dislodge that player over in that position a little more. And Smiling Cat has gone to actually replace him there and on the Wamai. But I think Crest have read on this.
Yeah, they indeed do. And it's Lua, the first one in the building. That's a pick. Is there a trade, though? There is indeed. As Jin looks to double down. That is a massive play. 3 kills for Jin. All up to Yanagi now, but he's found one. Whiskey now must salvage this rush. Seen 2 good retakes from System thus far. Could it be another? Yanagi just has to win this fight. Whiskey peeking the corner, and Yanagi wins the 1v2. System, they take the lead here on Night Haven.
That was a very back and forth round. I feel like that one really could have gone either way for Crest or for System. It was a nice idea, I think, for Crest to actually go for an explosive, super early execute onto the bomb site, but I think Jin, like you were saying, was there and lying in wait. Came down to a 1 versus 1, and all Yanagi needed to do was win out that gunfight. It really, I think, could have swung in either direction. I think both teams had good reads on what was going on. Crest had a good idea, but System had a slightly better response.
Wow. You said it before, last round, man. System have really impressed me. If this is the lowest seeded team in the entire LCQ for Japan, damn, we are lucky in Japan, right? Like, this is a really solid performance. They're currently leading over Crest. Yeah, they may be on defense, but these have been some really solid rounds. And Crest are having to work for it here. They need to get on their bike, because these might be one of the favorite teams to go to Atlanta through this LCQ, but they could go out in this quarterfinals. There is a universe where that is entirely possible.
Yeah, keep in mind, I believe this is a single elimination bracket. Correct me if
Oh,
I'm
it
wrong
is.
here, Dev, but this
It
is a
is
single
indeed.
elimination bracket. So if you go down in any one of these games, you are out. Your chances for the major are gone. So for Crest, who should be major contendees, right? These are the ones that we're saying out of the bracket of 8 that we should be sending over to the major. They were the ones that got a nice win over Scars in their group stage, for example. They've put up some big results. They can't just go down to System here in the quarterfinal, not even a dent inside of the last chance qualifier.
Wow. Well, one last round and a half, and if Crest can win this one, then it won't be all sadness in their camp. But System have just won 2 defenses in a row, one on a retake, the second on an anti-rush. Now, Crest, I appreciate their idea behind these rushes, but they just haven't been successful, have they, Mandy? Even if the initial part of the rush has been successful, somehow System always seem to get the better of them.
Yeah, they need to respect System a little bit more, right? They keep thinking, okay, this is a a new team. We're going to catch them off guard with something off tempo and then play the post or whatever you want to do, right? But System, they're so ready for it, and I think they've proven to us time and time again. They know how to play the retake, and they know what the win condition of the map is and where to go and how to route themselves to do so. Meanwhile, we are going to go over to one of the other ground floor bomb sites. It does look like it is going to be a pretty probe-like attack here for Crest. They're trying to find a way, and it seems like Choppy and Surineko are going to double down on this side of the map to make their way in. Nice entry pick as well for Choppy off the back of the Jackal.
Yes, Marlin Cat has gone down, and as you said, this is a lot of map control here from Crest as they are going for this horizontal push, but they're keeping their options open as Choppy looks to rotate over. You said it, Kitchen. Typically, I would expect a lot of vertical play, but it doesn't seem to be the case here. This is all horizontal, and Koki finding 2 onto Lua and Eclair as another attempted rush fails for Crest. This might be redeemable, however, as Choppy has found a second one. Shirineko joins the fight, and now this rush can be confirmed. Shirineko forces that diffuser down, Whiskey to cover, but walks into another goo mine. Yanagi is tempted to go for a very ambitious flank outside, but it is up the duo to retake here from lobby. I don't believe there is a breach on the site. Yanagi as well upstairs. This retake will be nigh impossible.
Really strange round here. It seems like Crest actually got the diffuser inside of the bomb site, and then the rest of the teammates went to go and collect it. Yanagi going for a pretty ambitious retake back in through the hatch exterior to the map. He's going to be spotted and taken out pretty easy. Duo in his attempt at a 1v3 can take out one. Grenade's going to land at his feet, and with 13 seconds left to go, it's actually going to kill him just outside the wall adjacent to him. He walked straight into it in the last few seconds of it being exploded. So unfortunately there for System, Crest actually did catch them off guard that time.
Well, of 3 rushes or rush-adjacent kind of pushes from Crest, at least one of them worked. And funnily enough, it was the one that didn't look like it was going to work when 2 players went down so early to Koki. Credit to System, though. 3-3 half, not too bad, especially considering those last 2 rounds that they won looked very, very nice. Now, Crest have salvaged the half. They've redeemed themselves a little bit. They've got even scoreline moving into their defense. And this is where things could get spicy, Mandy, because either Crest start to run away with this, and it's like, okay, well, System had a good start, but Crest, they tightened the belt a little bit. They started respecting System, as you said. Or if this remains tense here, I'd be massively impressed by System. As we said, System really struggled when they played against North Epshire, and they are keeping pace here.
Really impressed by them so far, I think, is the tone, I think, of this entire matchup at the moment. But I think, like you said, Rainbow Six is the tale of 2 halves. Even if you have one really solid attack half or defense half, it's not necessarily going to translate over once you have that side swap, right? So I think, like you're saying, for Crest, they're actually bringing along something similar to System 4C4 in their line. Also aided by the Valkyrie, also with Mirror on board too. But it doesn't really seem like System are actually going to play into that roam clear, right? They've got the Blitz, they've got the Thermite, they've got the not the Jackal, sorry, the Thatcher. It does make me think that they are going to put that pressure on the bomb site pretty early.
Oh wow, there's actually an open wall here, so no Thermite may be able to get a job done on this left side, but still that is a very awkward kind of setup on that breach. Now, the wall has been opened pretty handily, but systems seem to immediately be rotating off of that.
This is sort of the nature of this basement bomb site, right? Like, yes, you want to put the pressure on the bomb site early, but you also want to mount and a roam clear simultaneously. Tiopi is going to be the first point of contest over in vending as a first point of entry. Smoke to go out, I believe this, to try and distract him, and he's going to land the shots anyway, but here comes the train wreck.
Look at that, the double sledgehammer enabling this blitz. Now the blitz does take a bit of damage as he moves his way in. This plant may well be able to go down in the safe dark corner for System. A C4, I believe that may have actually been. Did miss, didn't do any damage, but Shiraneko from above is able to deny the plant. It was in fact a C4 to open up the vertical line of sight. Very nice attempt there from System, but they are left reeling with Roamers still alive and well, and a team kill from Koki is not going to make it any easier. 1v3 now for the Thermite.
Yeah, and on the littlest bit of HP as well, it's going to be pretty tough with just a minute left to go. Unfortunately here for System, trying to catch a Crest off guard, go for a cheeky plant in the blind spot, just in the corner once you enter in through EXO. Didn't quite work out for them because they hadn't actually cleared Crest on the roam clear. I think it was Choppy who was able to actually get that vertical play down onto the players as they were planting. Eclair can close that one out, and unfortunately for System, as we were saying, not respecting your opponents, I think they do that just there and get punished for it.
It was a cool round though, Mandy, I got to admit. Like, how nice was that the sledge on the hatch above kitchen, opens that up, opens the pantry wall into vending, and then immediately this poor Vigil is like, getting destroyed from behind as well. A really nice idea there from System. Unfortunate that it didn't work out. I'm pretty disappointed. Like, I thought they would have made that one work, but like you said, it really came down to Choppy above. Very swift on the Plantanal. Credit to Crest. They maintained composure. Andy, haven't we just seen so much fire from these Japanese teams? Like, it's such a playstyle thing, right? Like, that's 4 rounds so far where we've seen like a mid-round execute based on some kind of cool idea. And I feel like we just don't see that in many other regions of Rainbow Six.
Yeah, it's been a fun one to watch. I'm not sure why Japan likes to do this, but they certainly do a lot of this like random fast pace, like early to mid rounds. Now, whether it's always super informed or not is like a bit of a question mark, I think, for me with this region. You know, sometimes it's like, oh wow, they're going for it. Oh, that wasn't very well planned. And sometimes it's like, oh wow, they went for it and that was cool and that was fun. Yeah, I think Japan is one of those unique regions where they just love it so much. They love getting in on the action. And Nighthaven Labs, which is one of the more untested maps in this region, is a pretty fun one to do it on.
Yeah, it feels like every couple of rounds you could pull out something that no one has ever seen before, because no one's seen a lot on Nighthaven. Nature of the map being so new, as you said. System now going into their second attack. They'll have to deal with this top floor. Looks like a bit of a lurk is going to come out from Yanagi as he's prepping into kitchen. Crest elsewhere. It looks like they're pretty tight on the bomb site. Nothing too crazy coming out, like no ridiculous ops. Here's a very nice drone though from Smiling Cat on site.
In the meantime, though, for System, they've only got one set of hard breach, right? They've only got the Thermite of Koki. And that's going to make it really hard once they actually open those exterior walls to then put a dent into these mirror windows. Like, yes, there is one exterior on Connector, but Koki's a little bit nervous to get that one down here. She does get it down pretty easy. Eclair on the other side doesn't impact, and I think he's actually managed to impact Tricket off the back of that mirror going off. So that's one of your 2 exothermics down, and IT breach hasn't been opened either. So the exterior of the map is going to stay closed for Crest.
Wow, what a great start for Crest, and Whiskey, I believe, is able to get back to safety. Or might be in just a moment. Got support from Eclair on the Malusi on that boost spot. And wow, yeah, does successfully run away somehow. System are looking a little bit lost, I'll admit. They had a nice idea, but they lost a player. They lost the idea. They lost the plot as well. And now we'll see what they can pull back together. Looks like just a bit of a lurk. Sometimes you got to just go for a bit of a lurk and see if it works.
Yeah, I think unfortunately for System, they are being punished a little bit by the lack of redundancy in their hard breach. Because they only had the Thermite, they've got really limited options now on what they're actually going to go in for their attack. Koki's actually used his second exothermic charge. I'm not sure if it's gone out on the IT breach or not. Okay, it is out on the IT breach, but they're still going to attack in through this meeting side of the map, trying to make a dent inside of Connector. Koki's actually going to be the first one to entry. I mean, your exothermic charge is gone. You may as well try, but there's a mirror to meet you on the other side.
Oh, and that boost spot is so dangerous. This is such a difficult position to clear out, especially when that breach is, as it is, just a low angled mirror window. Whiskey is supporting on the long angle, and I just don't see Smiling Cat having much more success here. Okay, there's the first one. I think I jinxed it, but Eclair is there to get one back. Now Jin in a 1v3, but one player is down. Finished. Now 1v2, very winnable, but the diffuser is not anywhere within his clutches. Eclair just on the other side, falling back a little bit. This is so winnable for Jin. Shotgun comes out, spots the player for a brief moment. There is a C4, it's baited. This could be a kill, but the shotgun from Lua lands the final shot needed for Crest. A very nice attempt there from Jin, but at the end of the day, Crest just had such a good plan and they locked it out.
Yeah, look, I think good try there in the 1 versus 3, but I think ultimately the round was lost pretty early on once they couldn't quite get the con breach open. They actually were forced then to funnel in through con despite getting the IT breach open, and they got really stuck on that doorway, which is being held by a crossfire from Eclair and Whiskey, both looking directly at the one position that they could actually entry in from. The only other place that they had to worry about a little bit was like someone hopping in through like E window or something like that, but Lua was there with the shotgun to meet them after that. So really well played there from Crest, realizing that once the breaches were all going to remain closed, they just need to hold on to the windows and the doorways one-to-one and force System to funnel into them.
Yeah, very cool stuff. Gotta say, I'm still, even these rounds that they're losing, I'm still impressed by System, right? Like, yeah, there was some macro mistakes, if you want to call it that there. They didn't really know how to deal with the setup with the mirror window and that boost position. But even at the end of it, like Jin almost pulls off a 1v3 or he has a good effort. To be honest, man, he was expecting like 7-1s and 7-2s in these games where you've got teams like Crest and North Eption up against these teams that aren't in the Japan League. And System has already proven to me that Crest and these other top-level Japan teams are getting more than they bargained for here in the last chance qualifier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think yes and no. I think I would agree with that to some extent. Like, yeah, 3 defenses is not bad. But I think the nature of the game at the moment is that, like, defending is a little easier, I think. It doesn't really matter what the map is, even on Nighthaven Labs, where the architecture of it sort of does lean into it being a little more attacker-favored. Just the fact that there's so much to deal with on the side of defense does mean that once you're starting on it, it can be, like, quite comfortable to have, like, a nice early start and try and pick up the momentum from there. I think for System, it's about actually mounting some successful attacks here and showing us that not only do they have good fundamentals on the defense, but they also have good ideas on the attack.
One idea they've got, yeah, Andy, involves a Monty and a Capitao, 2 very execute-heavy operators. Seems like the Monty at the moment, who, by the way, has the diffuser, is kind of just roam clearing / info gathering at the moment on this top floor. My biggest concern for him would be C4s from below. Now, there is only one, and it's in Shiraneko's pocket at the moment. But paired with those Valkyrie cameras, I would not be surprised if the Valk is able to land something. If it is that Monty, if it is that diffuser going down on the ground, that would be a huge burden for the System to try and recover from.
Oh, nice nade as well off the back of info. Duo able to sink that one onto Siruneku, who's actually the only player in the top floor at all. So I believe now they have full vertical control. They've got the sledge in hand, so they can really start to put the pressure on the remaining players inside the bomb site. But keep in mind for the defense of Crest, they actually don't have that many players on the bomb site itself. Everyone is set up adjacent to the bomb site instead. They've got these long lines of sight that are open in towards that bomb site. They're going to use the 1.5x of Eclair to then stunt the push as it comes in. But with the Monty in hand, it's going to be tough for them to do so.
Yeah, with Shiraneka going down as the only C4. What a shot there from Choppy. That was beautiful. Duo goes down. One of the sharpest players for System, already losing his life, and that's also a lot of util gone. Most of the vertical potential has now been utilized, right? Not a lot more on the System side. No breaching charges or anything like that. Yanagi, you gotta win those. Lua threads the needle. Now System are really struggling. Another one bites the dust. Oh no, rather that was Eclair as well. Trading with Smiling Cat. System just have 2 players left, including that Monty. Jin doubles back, looking for a pick here. Koki seems very unsure of how to play this.
This is really tough. So the Monty can't actually get in through the breach because it is a vault breach, not a walking breach. And so he's got to force his way in through the hallway instead. And with his player dying behind him, he's going to be left to the 1 versus 3. But all the Crest are playing pretty disciplined at the moment. He's going to be stunted out by 2 smoke babes and an impact at his feet. And Choppy having a super round.
Yeah, that was huge from Choppy. Not only doing damage on the top floor, but to come back and prevent that hallway access for Crest. Not bad for Crests overall now. They've just had 3 defenses in a row, and you really called it, Mandy. Like, switching to that second half onto the defensive side has completely turned the tables on System. They're yet to find a single attack, and now they'll be going up on Crest's best bomb site as well in the basement. So I'm not optimistic for their chances. They will have to run 3 in a row to reply to Crest here, who are on match point. Of course, that is the end of it for the game, right? Like, this is a BO1. Yeah. It's funny, in most other regions, these qualification games, well, not qualification, these last chance qualifier games, they're BO3s. But in Japan League, it's just BO1. Almost over. Crest are almost there.
They're certainly nearly there, like you're saying, and going down to this basement bomb site, I think they're going to feel pretty comfortable to try and close it out from here. I do want to say for System, though, I think they have put up a relatively good fight against Crest. Like, the scoreline doesn't really tell that so, but I think, you know, System being comfortable with jumping onto this map and having some alright ideas on the defense, and then having some pretty linear attacks, but I think, in general, having the right notions going into it is something that I don't think I expected from this team, and I think they've really shown us a good match today against Crest.
Yeah, 100%. System are a team to watch in the future for sure. They've got the building blocks of a solid team here in the Japanese region. But this game is not over yet. Crest have managed to win 4 rounds in a row, 3 on this defensive side after the half switched. System, they will find the opening pick as Shiraneko goes down. On top of that, you've got a fantastic lineup of operators, Mandy. Some great roam hunters with that Jackal in tow. You've even got the ramp for vertical play. So I'm very optimistic that System have all of the ingredients they need to make this work.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. If System play it right, they can certainly cut down on this defensive Crest, but it looks like a lot of the roam game has fallen off pretty early. We can see on the other side of the map, 2 players immediately starting to fall down on those cargo steps, knowing that one of their players has been lost out. Nice castle barricade from Lua as well, just on the doorway of cargo is going to prevent that cutoff angle as well, and enable them to get down to the bomb site safely. Meanwhile, on the side of System though, because the map is pretty big and, well, it's only just pretty early on in the round, they've got to still send in some drones in through this ground floor, just make sure that everything is truly actually clear before Smiling Cat can get those Mars rovers down on the ground and make that vertical happen.
Mars rovers, you are such a aerospace nerd. I love that call from you. Now, Crest really have forfeited, as you said, all of the map. But as I say that, Smiling Cat is able to find one. Was that? There you go. So it was actually through that vertical play. The Mars rovers doing what they do best here, tearing up the floor. And it's now going to be hell on the bomb site for Crest. As you can see, these players are all relocating, trying to figure out where to play. There's plenty of time on the board. System could well and truly make this attack work.
Well, Smiling Cat's really got to make good use of this final, what's it actually called? The Boogie Gadget, right? That's the real name of it, yeah. To actually then put the pressure on the remaining players, because there isn't actually anyone on the bomb site anymore. Choppy somehow threading the needle through the vertical is going to find a pick onto someone else on the top floor. That was Yanagi going down with 52 seconds left to go. It is possible here for System to convert, but they need to start putting their focus on the basement.
Yeah, this is where a team is really tested, isn't it? System have the advantage. They've had it for a while now, but it's been 20-30 seconds. They have not achieved much. Now, another pick will make this even more doable, but Whiskey will fight back. 2v4 is a dangerous task. The Crest are entirely capable. 30 seconds to go. Whiskey feeling that pressure, but will continue to contest. Spots one above, loses the fight. Smiling Cat has been everything this round for System, as Choppy must clutch up. The 1v2 spots the first one. Duo goes down, and it is a 1v1 for the game. Jin must save it, but Choppy has been nigh unstoppable. Jin looks for it, presses for it, but Choppy says enough is enough. The GG is called, and Crest dominate in the second half. 5 rounds in a row, and they take down System without breaking a sweat.
Very solid defenses from both sides of these teams, but ultimately Choppy seriously coming out on top. He had some super rounds in the end. 11 and 7 is going to be his scoreline to close it out. He had some seriously impact kills coming in through the last 2 rounds there, and I think was really the done deal for Crest.
Damn. I'm a little bit disappointed, I admit it, Andy. After the first half, I thought that we were 3-2 up, right, the System.